These are 10 things about credit that I learned in my 20s so that you don't have to. And personally, I wish I had known them sooner myself. Some of them could save you tens, hundreds of dollars, while some of these things could save you well upwards of tens, potentially even hundreds of thousands of dollars. So let's get into it. Number 1, the statement credit hack. This is one of the easiest ways to quickly boost your credit score. And quite simply how it works is you want to make the majority of your payments before your statement closing date. And the reason it's important is because your statement closing date and your due date are not the same thing. As an example, your statement cycle opens January 1. Your statement cycle closes January 31. On January 31, your credit card takes a snapshot of your credit utilization, which is how much credit you're using relative to how much you're given, sends it to the credit bureaus. However, you then have another 20 to 24 days to pay that thing off. But let's say, for example, you had a $10,000 credit limit, you spent $10,000, you had 100% utilization, even though you had 10K ready to pay it off on the due date. Well, guess what? For the period at which the statement closes and the actual due date in the next reporting, you will have 100% credit utilization. Your credit is gonna get tanked. So the hack here is to pay 90 to 95% of your balance before the statement close date. Lesson 2, you can have multiple credit card sign-up bonuses. In the points and miles space, success is defined as planting your butt in a lie flat seat to a destination of your choice. But what happens when those seats cost 50, 60, 70,000 points apiece? Well, that just means you need to earn 50, 60, 70,000 points. But how? Sign-up bonuses. But what happens when you've already gotten a sign-up bonus from a card and you want another? Well, oftentimes it turns out you can actually get the sign-up bonus again. You just have to look in the terms and conditions. As an example, Chase Sapphire Preferred and Chase Sapphire Reserve cards have a 48-month rule. If you have gotten a bonus within 48 months, you can't get it again. But if it's 49 months since your last bonus, you can get it again. And to get it again, downgrade your Chase Sapphire Preferred Reserve to Chase Freedom and apply again, and there you go. And speaking from experience as someone who has gotten it again, yeah, it totally works. Lesson 3, travel points. I remember when I first graduated college, people were getting this card. It was called the Chase Sapphire Preferred. And I remember that card could earn more than 1% cash back, which at the time was crazy because the standard was earn cash back at a rate of 1%. However, it turns out to get the most value for your points, it's actually not cash back, it's these travel points. So instead of taking 50,000 points and redeeming it for $500, you could take 50,000 points and redeem it for a $4,000 business class flight from North America to Paris via Air France. So learn how to use your travel points. Lesson 4, a more premium credit card doesn't mean it's more valuable. Listen, we've all been there. I've been there. Early in my 20s, I saw an American Express Platinum. I thought, oh my gosh, shiny, heavy metal. If I got this, people will surely think I'm cool and it surely gives me some sort of status. Wrong. Just because a card is more quote unquote premium doesn't mean it confers any status to you as a cardholder, nor does it mean it actually is any more valuable. In fact, the American Express Platinum is one of the worst earning cards if all you do is go out and eat, if all you do is go out and travel but you don't buy airfare. It's a card that people wrongfully confer status to, but it's also as easy to get as any credit card that requires excellent credit score. Chase Sapphire Reserve, Chase Sapphire Preferred, American Express Gold. So keep that in the back of your head. Don't just go and willy-nilly get the $400, $500, $600, $700 credit card because you think it somehow makes you special or that it's more valuable. Make sure you can actually get the value from the card. Lesson 5, late fee waivers. Folks, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I've been perfect and I've never missed a credit card bill. It's happened once or twice, maybe 3 times. However, what I'm gonna say is I've never paid a late fee. Not because I just say, I wasn't late. No, it's because I just called and asked for a waiver. Literally, pick up your phone, get on the call with the customer service representative, and explain your case. And honestly, I've never gotten turned away from it, and they've waived it. In fact, I've actually had it waived consecutively on a card. We're not gonna go there, but they were still able to do it. So it's not necessarily a once per lifetime or once per year thing. If it happens, it's honest to say, call them, get taken care of. Lesson number 6. There are some creative ways to hit that minimum spend requirement. Earlier we mentioned that if you want to travel for free, you want to fly in a lie flat bed, you need a lot of points. To get a lot of points, you get cards with sign-up bonuses, but oftentimes you have to spend $4,000, $5,000. Heck, I've seen cards requiring $15,000 to spend within 3 or 6 months. How the heck do you do that if you don't spend money? Well, that's the problem I faced back in the day, because let me be real with you. I don't like spending money. As a recent college graduate, couple years working my job, I hated spending money. So then how was I able to get a bunch of these cards? Well, there's some kosher ways and there's some ways that are non-kosher which are much more difficult to execute. So let's talk about the kosher ways. First, leverage your friend spend. If people are going out for dinner, put your credit card down and send everyone a Venmo. There's a stupid debate about, oh, my friends don't pay me back on Venmo. Listen, if you go out and eat and you spend money, go ahead and Excel sheet every meal and Venmo charge those people, all right? The other thing with leveraging friend spend, I'm unapologetic about it. I will literally tell people, hey, listen, I'm hitting a minimum spend bonus. If you're only gonna buy that thing, can I actually buy it for you and send you the Venmo charge? And because most of your friends are not in the credit card game, they're probably gonna think it's kind of weird, but they also don't care because they were just gonna buy it probably with their debit card anyway, or they're gonna use it with a credit card, but again, they weren't probably thinking about points the way you're thinking about points. In fact, I've had friends move where I've offered to buy their furniture and they just Venmo me the money. Another thing you can do is buy a gift of college gift card. If you have student loan debt, basically you take your credit card, you buy a gift of college gift card, and then you go ahead and turn around and pay your student loans. Obviously, there's gonna be a fee associated. However, that fee is totally acceptable because you're gonna get a 50, 60, 70, 100,000 point plus sign-up bonus. Another tactic is Venmo. Now, I think that actually might be called out in the T's and C's. It doesn't count, but in my experience, historically, it has counted. However, I would not take your entire minimum spend balance of, let's say, $4,000 and Venmo somebody. Maybe if you're short $1,000, you're short $500, that's totally fine. It typically worked, at least in my experience. In the last creative method, which they've completely shut down, but back in the day, you could convert your gift cards to money orders at Walmart. Unfortunately, Walmart's point of sale systems have now been able to detect if it's a gift card and they won't let that happen, but there are still regional grocery stores around the country where you can get away with this. In addition, if you're just short like 500 bucks or 200 bucks on a minimum spend requirement, I've had success and I've seen people have success with just going to a CVS or Walgreens, just buying a gift card. However, don't just go and buy $5,000 worth of gift cards. You're technically not allowed to use a credit card to buy gift cards. But if you're just buying, let's say, a holiday card and then you throw in a $200 gift card, they're usually not gonna say anything. Number 7, business credit cards. Anybody who has the intent of starting a business or has started a business to generate revenue in a year can get a business credit card. It's kind of the open secret in the points and miles space. Let's say, for instance, you sold something on eBay or Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. You have some sort of side hustle and you might not even have revenue yet. You have projected revenue. You can apply for a business credit card. All you need to use is your social security number. Nothing gets reported to the IRS. There's literally nothing that happens besides just telling the bank, hey, I've got a business and I make this much money, or I think I will make this much money. My first business credit card, I applied with an estimated revenue of $3,000. I literally told them, I think I'll make $3K. I had made $0 at that point. I got approved for it. So do not overlook business credit cards. Number 8, there is a more optimal way to apply for credit cards. When we all get first started on credit cards, we probably watch a couple videos online, we see a couple Instagrams, and we're like, oh my gosh, I wanna sit in a lie flat bed. I wanna be knocking back caviar and sipping on champagne. And so we open a couple cards here and there, and suddenly we're like, wait a minute, why can't I get this certain bonus? Or why can't I get this credit card? You have to be strategic when you jump in the points and miles space. For example, American Express, you can get 1 sign-up bonus per card per lifetime. So if you got a lower sign-up bonus, you can't turn around and get a higher sign-up bonus ever again. Now, officially that's what it is. Remains to be seen how it actually plays out. Chase. 524 rule. What does that mean? If you have opened 5 credit cards in the last 24 months, Chase will deny you, no questions asked. And so you want to be cognizant of that as you start going through things. Number 9, closing old credit cards will not hurt your credit score. This is the most commonly perpetuated myth I see on the internet because somebody saw some video from somewhere and just said blah. And it just pisses me off because it takes 5 seconds to go on the internet and just read about this. So what happens when you actually close a credit card? You get impacted from a credit utilization perspective. Listen, your average length of credit history is one of the 5 components of your FICO score. It's only 15%. In the average length of credit history, they take a look at your oldest card, and then the second component is the average length of all of your cards. So you shouldn't close your oldest first card ever, but those other cards, honestly, to me, don't matter that much. The reason being, credit utilization accounts for 30%. Let's quickly walk through a hypothetical. Here, let me get this. All right. Let's say you had 2 credit cards with a credit limit of $5,000 each. And then let's say you ended up buying a camera lens for $3,000. So you've spent $3,000 across a total credit limit of $10,000. Again, remember 2 cards. So that's a 30% utilization. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just middle of the road, it's not gonna hurt you. Now let's say though, you closed one of those cards, and then you went to go buy a $3,000 camera lens with a $5,000 credit limit. What is your utilization? Yeah, 60%. you're gonna get hammered. Not because you closed the card and the average length of credit history is gone. No, because your utilization just shot up. That's how closing a card can dramatically decrease your credit score. The average length of credit history, folks, I have had over 70 credit cards. Currently today, I have probably over 10 open, meaning I've closed at least 60 cards. My credit score hovers anywhere from 790 to like 830. And the final lesson I wish I knew in my 20s, interest rates can be waived. Similar to late fees, if it's your first offense, call them up, say, hey, I'm so sorry, I was traveling, all these things were happening, can you waive it? More often than not, they will make an exception to that, all right? And this happened to me. I was paying for a tax bill on a credit card. I was traveling. It kind of just slipped my mind. It wasn't an auto pay. And all of a sudden I saw an interest charge and I was like, oh my gosh, no, absolutely not. Call them, explain my case. They basically saw that since the time I've ever had the card, I've made on-time payments in full. And so they said, yeah, no problem. We're gonna go ahead and waive it. And so they basically just took back the interest charge. And that's the video, folks. These are 10 things that I wish I knew about credit in my 20s, but I'm glad that I learned them so you don't have to. Comments, questions, or if there's any other lessons that you might have learned that I didn't mention down below. I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.